Welcome to the all-new Marvel Roundup, the Southgate Media Group's guide to the Marvel Comics of the week. As always, I am Phil Parrish. Joining me is...
Charlie, yes, sir.
Alright, let's get into it. We might be a little shorter podcast this week, because between us, we only have, 5 books?
Yeah, 5 books, yes, exactly.
Alright, so I will start with all-new X-Men number 7. Let's see. This starts off with Beast, Angel, and the kids. They're looking for Cyclops. I guess Wolverine and Angel, thanks to their little tiff, they're not answering their cell phones. But they're trying to find Cyclops, who's been kidnapped by Toad. But so they're looking online. Toad has his own, I was gonna say YouTube, but I guess in here they say it's a U-video channel. Back from when Toad. It starts off with videos of when Toad used to be the janitor at the school. But I guess he got let go. Then later on they show him in a hotel room and he's getting drunk. And
Wait, what about janitor at a school? What now?
He was a janitor at the Jean Grey school, right before Wolverine died.
Oh, okay. So this is like a modern thing. Okay.
Yeah.
This was like some kind of weird retro thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
No. But
that's fine then.
Yeah, but I guess he got let go when everything went crazy. But so later on they show another video of him all drunk and he's all mad. He's like, things are getting bad. And he's like, but then look who pops up on this TV: Skinny Scott Summers, baby fresh back from the dead. And he's like, maybe that kid's not him, not really. And he's like, but I've seen movies. I know how it works. If a guy wants to fix the future, he's got to change something in the past. But he's like, I don't want to be the monster who kills a baby in his crib. Who would? It's no fun down here in the dark. He's like, that's what it takes to turn everything back. He's like, I'm your monster, man. And then they go to the catacombs of Paris, and Toad has Cyclops tied down to looks like a coffin or something. And so basically Cyclops' head is he has him tied, so his face is pointing towards the ceiling. So if he lets loose with an optic blast, he's gonna bring the whole ceiling down on top of them. Then Toad gets all mad and starts beating Cyclops with the bottle of, what was he drinking? Looks like whiskey, maybe?
Mm-hmm. Demon in a bottle.
Yeah. But then, the rest of the X-Men are looking for Cyclops, and Iceman's asking Beast. He says, well, can't you use, Cerebro to track Scott? And he says, no, only if he's using his powers. He's like, unless we had a telepath, but no, not unless he's using his powers. A lot of this is just Cyclops and Toad talking in the catacombs. Because Toad keeps telling him, if I kill you, everything will go back the way it should. Scott Summers broke the world. If I kill you, the timeline changes.
That's not how timelines work, Toad. I'm sorry.
No, well, that's what Cyclops says. He goes, no, it doesn't work like that. But I guess since looks like Toad's almost gonna slit his throat with the broken bottle, so I guess Cyclops thinks he has nothing to lose, so he does blast the ceiling.
Yeah, there you go. Toad don't care. He's like any bit.
But meanwhile, Cyclops doesn't have the visor, so he's he's crawling around, feeling for it. But then some debris comes down and he breaks a leg. So. Toad still. Oh, the X-Men finally make it up above because they tracked him when he let off the blast, and they're like, well, where's he at? What are we missing? We don't see him. Meanwhile, he's underground. But Cyclops is crawling, trying to escape, but he crawls into some sort of corridor, and Toad basically pours kerosene behind him and lights it with the lantern he was carrying. So
this is in Paris, right?
Yeah, it's in the catacombs. Yeah.
Where are the heroes of Paris?
I don't know. Well, it is in the middle of the night, so maybe they're sleeping.
Yes, because that's what superheroes do. They just take a nap, It's
I know. Well, no, because the X-Men even say it's 3 a.m.
Okay, I don't know. I hate when they introduce the idea that there are superheroes around the world, and then when someone goes to somebody else's territory, they just magically don't show up. It's because there has been established that Paris as a major world city has superheroes, to not even have any one local, hell, heck, even a local mutant show up. You know, it's like, yeah.
Mutants are really hunted and feared these days, Charlie. They're in hiding.
I know, but you know, Loki's from Paris. You know, his human form was from Paris, so it's when he was Kid Loki, that would be kind of cool. It, like, you know, Loki, Defender of Paris. I want that book, Loki, Defender of Paris. Come on.
But basically the issue just ends with like Toad comes back up above ground and it looks like the part of the catacombs they were in collapses, and Toad's like, he's gone, he's crushed, and he's like, wait a minute, nothing's changed, it's all the same, no, what did I do? And meanwhile, Beast is like, wait, they were in the catacombs? He's like, I should have seen that. Why didn't I see that? Because I guess they all think Cyclops is dead.
And Beast has low self-esteem now.
Yeah, and then the next issue, I don't know what they're attempting, because the cover to the next issue is young Beast, and he looks like he's working on something with Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange? What? He's not a real doctor anymore.
Well, it looks like, on the cover, it looks like Beast is mixing like chemicals or something, and Doctor Strange is like reading a spell book or something, and there's floating candles, and
should be exciting.
But it was decent. I give it a thumbs up.
Okay, yeah, they're pushing Doctor Strange now. It's almost as if there's some big Doctor Strange event coming up.
Like a movie?
Maybe, I don't know. Do they make movies of Doctor Strange? Not since the 70s.
Well, in November there's one coming.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I had completely forgotten. And from Doctor Strange, let's move to Hercules, number 5. I am so hoping this book doesn't get canceled. I am so in love with this book. You know, and maybe it's just me, but I guess I gotta write a letter. Because I love the book, and there's like no letters page, but it's like, you know what, this book deserves to live. So, opening up with when we last left Hercules, him and Catastrophobia had just blown some stuff up because they were fighting, and Catastrophobia is the new god of war, along with Cryptomnesia, who is the messenger god of the new gods. And they're like, yeah, we all did it, LOL, lovely joke, lols, because they're like all millennial speak computery thing. That's how Cryptomnesia speaks, which is like so funny, because it's like that is so going to get dated in like 5 seconds. In fact, it's already written by some 40-year-old guy at Marvel Comics, so it already kind of sounds dated. But these are gods, so it's funny. But of course, Hercules is not dead, and he says, "Is there some part of a mortal you don't get?" And so him and Catastrophobia start fighting. Cryptomnesia puts a big handprint on that looks like a circuit board on Herc's shoulder, and you know, he says, you know, you've been branded, you've been upgraded, rebranded, upcycled. Maybe now you'll, and then Herc hits him and fight, and he tells Gilgamesh to get up. Gilgamesh gets up and says, and gets Ire to get up, who is the goddess of the Stone Age. They get out of there, and then they fight, and Tennyson brings a mace to Gilgamesh. Gilgamesh takes the mace, and Hercules is fighting Catastrophobia out in Queens at the old World Trade Center. Not World Trade Center, a World Fair site. Catastrophobia sets up a bunch of targeting missiles that you get like targeting, and it like blasts them, and then Gilgamesh in the mace basically steps in and beats the heck out of Catastrophobia. Then Ire stabs him in the back, and then Hercules takes the big steel globe cage and smashes it on top of Catastrophobia. And then as Catastrophobia comes out, then the centaurs show up from the previous issue and fill him with arrows, and he disappears. And everyone's like, "Hooray, we won!" And it says, Gilgamesh says, "What happens now?" Hercules says, "Now we make our plans, pool our strengths, and arm for war." Meanwhile, Horoscope and Cryptomnesia are talking, and they say, she says, "He is the most resistant, the best adapted to our time." Says, "So we focus on him, Horoscope, and kill him? No. Oh, no, Bay. Much worse than that. I branded him. The hostile takeover starts now. He doesn't grasp it yet, but he's one of us now. Dun, dun, dun." And so that's exciting. Don't miss Hercules number 6. We see Ire with a Magnum, a 57 Magnum. Herc with bow and arrow, and Gilgamesh with the bull's head helmet. So I got to write them. I got to say, so is he like the Gilgamesh from that was in the Avengers, who is the forgotten one, the Eternal, or is he actually the Gilgamesh? Because I don't know. We also see Tennyson and Sophia, the landlord, with a monkey wrench, ready to do battle. Looking forward to it. I love Hercules. It is really. I'm not gonna say it. Hercules is my pick of the week this week. I loved it. It was great and real positive about it. And yeah, I want this book to continue. Please do not cancel this book, Marvel. I may be the only guy buying it, but I'm loving it. So, so just as a favor to me, keep it.
All right. Well then, we'll go from your pick of the week, Hercules number 5, to my pick of the week, Daredevil number 5. It opens up in the at Ten Fingers Temple in Chinatown. The Hand has sent an assassin. Ten Fingers said it's called the Fist, a half-dead beast infused with evil energies through the mystic arts of the Hand. Come to kill me and everyone else here. So the beast just starts ripping through all the followers, and Blind Spot's mom's like, "What do you want us to do? Do you want us to destroy the creature for you?" And he's like, "No." He's like, "You could take your son Blind Spot." He's like, "But we'll talk about that later." He says, "No." He's like, "I will say, I will save my congregation." And he goes to a cabinet with a bunch of guns. I don't know what he thinks that's going to do against the mystical creature, but then meanwhile with the district attorney's office, Matt's talking to Ellen, and then all of a sudden he just hears a bunch of voices saying, "Daredevil, the temple, Daredevil, the temple, Daredevil, the temple." And a woman even walks by them in the hall and says, "Daredevil, the temple." And Matt goes, "Excuse me, can I ask you why you just said that?" And she goes, "I follow Blind Spot on Twitter, and he just asked all his followers to say that Daredevil, the temple." She goes, "It's pretty neat. Makes me feel like part of the whole scene, you know?" And Matt's thinking, "Blind Spot, you're a genius." So Matt tells Ellen to cover for him, and she's like, "I can't do that. I'm a paralegal, not an attorney." And he's like, "That's going to bite me in the ass." He's like, "Oh, well," and runs off. Meanwhile, back to temple.
Murdoch, you were so bad at your job.
Depends which job. But,
last I saw, Daredeviling doesn't have a 401k.
That's true. But, so Ten Fingers is going to try to take on the beast. He pulled some guns. He's just shooting at it, which of course doesn't work. The beast just starts throwing dead bodies at Ten Fingers, and Ten Fingers figuring he's going to die. So he shoots some of the power he stole from the Hand to his followers. So of course the beast follows that and starts attacking the followers until Daredevil shows up. Daredevil's like, "I can't believe Ten Fingers used them as a diversion, a sacrifice." Daredevil tells them all to run, and he says that he recognizes the creature, like Ten Fingers called it, a fist. Matt thinks it's a corpse engine. It takes enormous power to build one. The Hand has to sacrifice 100 of their own to the beast to get enough power, so they almost never do it. He's like, "Don't know if I can kill it. Don't know if it can be killed." So he starts fighting it. Of course, Ten Fingers takes off. Well, not before he tells Blind Spot's mother that her and 2 warriors she's with have to kill all the followers. Ten Fingers says he'll just start over somewhere else. And then to distract the fist from the followers, Daredevil says, you know my name. I'm Daredevil, one of the Hand's greatest enemies." He says, "I won't allow you to hurt anyone else. Leave now or die." So, of course, the fist just laughs at him. And then Blindspot's mother and the two warriors go to kill the other followers, and Blindspot says, no. He says, you want to get down there, Mom? You want to kill all those people? Your son is standing in your way, telling you no. Try and I will fight you with everything I have. I am Blindspot, and I am not lying to you. So he starts fighting them as Daredevil's fighting the Fist. And meanwhile, Ten Fingers is in his safe, getting all his valuables. He's like, he can start over. He was chosen. He's a savior. And then a voice says, that's beautiful. You're beautiful. But there's always room for improvement. Then back to the fight. Daredevil's fighting the Fist. Yeah, we'll get to that. But Daredevil's like, he's like, the lore about the Fist is pretty clear about one thing. It can think in its way, but it's not alive. He's like, that's good. That means I won't have to feel guilty about this, as he wraps his billy cord cable around the thing's neck and, like, I don't know if he breaks its neck or, like, cuts through it or something, but basically kills this undead thing. He races upstairs to Ten Fingers' office, I guess, and it looks like whoever was talking sliced off Ten Fingers' hands and feet and pinned him to the wall, so I don't know if he stole his power. Somebody stole his power.
Now he's no fingers.
No, now he's dead.
Yeah, oh, well, that too.
Or at least that's what it looks like. So anyway, Blindspot's still telling his mom, I won't let you hurt them. She kills the two warriors who were fighting with her, and he's like, why did you do that? And she says, because I believed you, next time I might not. Your mother is dead, Samuel. Don't ever try to save me again. And she leaves.
Aww.
Yeah. So at the end, Daredevil and Blindspot are working with, taking care of the cleanup, and he asked Blindspot if he's okay. He says, not really. He's like, I think I will be. And he asks about Ten Fingers, and of course Daredevil says, dead. The hand took back what he stole from them, and then some. But Daredevil's thinking about how Blindspot kind of lied to him, and he's like, do I deal with it now? Lecture him about the importance of honesty, talk to him about trust. He's like, I understand why he did it. His mother, I get it. Battle and Jack Murdoch's son can't really judge someone for trying to help their family, or for that matter, keeping secrets. He's like, but in the end, he picked the right side. Then Blindspot's like, is that it? Are we done? He's like, done. My friend, there's no such thing. You think this is the last time Chinatown will need your help? No, this job doesn't end. That's the best thing about it. The end.
Yay!
And then the next issue...
Forget it, kid. It's Chinatown. Sorry.
What?
I said, forget it, kid. It's Chinatown.
But the next issue... Guess who's guest starring in the next issue, Charlie?
Reed Richards!
No, I'll give you a hint. All new story. Electric Connection. Electric spelled with a K.
Electra?
Yes.
Morning becomes her. Well, I see that she made it back. Yeah. So, what do you think the odds are we're going to get to see Ten Fingers in like the next round of the Daredevil series? Because that's kind of the fun thing when they create these brand new characters, is that because they don't have this huge weight to them, the TV shows get to use them. So you can use like obscure characters from the '70s and like brand new characters they get to use. So.
Yeah, I mean, I saw people talking online. Like they were saying, I think it would be interesting if they did the Born Again storyline, because it's a big Wilson Fisk storyline, and you got a lot for Karen Page to do, and
yeah, this is Marvel.
Thing.
We don't just like take a random storyline and like force it into a TV show.
But
we might use the name, but we're going to tell our own interesting and delightful stories rather than sort of forcing something and saying, "See, this is what your kids like these days, isn't it?"
But Charlie, who first appeared in Born Again?
Who did first appear in Born Again? I don't know. I didn't read. I don't read Daredevil.
Nuke.
Oh, Nuke! Oh,
yes.
Okay. So he's got his tie-in then. Yeah. Oh, I just he won't be Nuke till he has the face tattoo. I'm just saying that now. Yeah. So. Oh, good. But yes. Well, so let's hope for it. I cannot wait till September. I cannot believe we have to wait till September to get Netflix, you need to slow cast. Just start just one show slow cast, just one episode a week. That's all we ask. You don't have to do them all at once. Do a slow cast so that we're not always fiending.
People are going to riot.
Not me, because I'm old and I like things slow.
Just keep watching Daredevil Season 1, then Jessica Jones, then Daredevil Season 2, and keep going back and forth until Luke Cage comes out.
I guess that's what I gotta do. If only they had the other Marvel movies on there so I could watch Winter Soldier and all this stuff. Here, can you hold for 1 second?
Yes.
Unbeatable Squirrel Girl, number 6. The Animal House crossover starts now! So we start off with a great little back and forth between Nancy and Squirrel Girl, and Squirrel Girl's like trying to, or Nancy is like, Squirrel says, "OMG, Nancy, that sounds super great. Make it a double." To a summer break filled with knitting, Mew, movies, knitting, and Mew. Mew is her cat. And then Nancy says, "Yes, it sure does. Thank you for taking an inexplicable interest in me, random superhero." Then you see Squirrel Girl tweeting at Stark Man Tony. Hey Tony, you don't have a secret identity, do you? Do you think that's something other superheroes should try? Seems easier. TBH. I do not know what TBH means because I'm old. And Tony says, "Who says I don't have a secret identity?" It gets into some funny things, and Howard the Duck can't text because he has feathers. And Squirrel Girl's telling Nancy about her adventure, how she once beat Hellcow, and she refers to Hellcow as a Dracula, and Nancy's trying to say, no, he wasn't a Dracula, he was a vampire. And she says, well, whatever he was, I kept him from Draculaing everyone else. And then Howard tries to steal Mew, and then after Howard sneaks out with Mew, Squirrel Girl jumps through the window. Squirrel Girl is having Nancy design her a new costume with a red belt because she thinks that'd be cool because the current costume's a little hot for the summer. She jumps through the window, destroying the window for some reason. But you go after Howard and Mew, and then she says, what are your powers, Howard? She says, you want to know my powers? And he starts throwing garbage at her. Nancy throws the card at the Deadpool card at him, but apparently Deadpool has never interacted with Howard, so he doesn't really know much about him. And says, look at this guy. I guess he's a weird duck man. Does he have hands or feathers? It's feathers, right? Does he do that thing where each feather is like a finger? How would that even work, though? They'd get all bent. Anyway, I'm pretty sure his powers include talking to ducks, controlling ducks, teaming up with 100 regular-sized ducks to form a giant duck. That's all I know and all I care to know about this guy. So here's a joke to fill up the rest of this card. How do you get down off a horse? You don't. You get down off a duck. Took me a long time to figure that joke out, but later I found out it's referring to down as in duck feathers. You can rearrange the letters in Howard to spell who rad. Answer, not this guy. And then Howard takes the card, scratches out a bunch of stuff, and writes in, look at this guy. I guess he's a great private detective. He has hands. Obviously, he has hands. Call him to solve your crimes. He is good at mysteries, and he's cool. He has a cool friend with tattoos and knows an old lady who works for him as an office administrator. Unless there's other Howards around, there's no need to always add the duck after his name. Thanks. So they get into this thing. Howard's been hired to find this cat named Biggs. As it turns out, Howard cannot differentiate between cats because all cats look alike. And, humans have, hairless apes. It says it makes sense that humans would keep, hairy proto-apes around as pets. Meanwhile, Squirrel Girl and Howard agreed to team up to find Biggs, and then all of a sudden the Cray van pulls up. which is, as they state, the most awesome thing to happen to Kraven the Hunter since 1970. And it is a cool van. It's got zebra striped mud flaps and a big orange spoiler and this big airbrush painting of Red Sonja and lying on a tiger skin rug, and Kraven riding some sort of cheetah horse hybrid with a spear. It's awesome. So Kraven captures Howard, because Kraven and Squirrel Girl are all like buddies now, but he's hunting leviathans of the deep are still my prey, but hunting on the ocean floor requires expensive equipment beyond even my means, and so for the moment I hunt for others for pay. And he's been hired to capture Howard. Kraven picks Squirrel Girl up and throws her up in the air, which is her move. She's very upset by that, and she's pondering what to do next. Meanwhile, Kraven drives to this reclusive mansion. Squirrel Girl spies the Kraven going in, decides to chase after them. We find out that the mansion is owned by Shannon Sugarbaker, who is a Southern Belle cosplayer who has all the best equipment, including an Iron Man gauntlet that really works. She has captured Howard because she wants to hunt the most dangerous game, humans, and we both know legal ways to hunt humans are about as scarce as a hen's teeth, but hunting anthropomorphic animals, now that, my friend, is what my pappy always called a legal gray area. She had tried to hunt Doombots, but they would not accept the programming that they were prey, so she has them all cosplaying as various villains, including Dr. Octopus, Sandman, and Electro. Howard is being led to a cell past Rocket Raccoon, who she has captured, the Beast, who she says is part animal, part human, maybe some ape and cat in there. I must say something I can't really tell. It says, "Once more, madam, I am not a hybrid. My current appearance is merely the logical end result of a genetic mutation, the particulars of which..." He says, "Oh, who's a little beastie weastie who loves the sound of his own voice?" And we see that Biggs is there, now turned into a cybernetic kill cat, as well as Weapon 2. Do you know what Weapon 2 is? It's a Squirrel Wolverine hybrid. It was the second version but prior to getting to the Weapon X program, they experimented on rodents, and they turned a rodent with they created a rodent with adamantium claws. He's got the little visor and everything, and he's got an adamantium skeleton, and the squirrel can actually speak human, so that's kind of cool. Squirrel Girl is dispatching the cosplaying Doombots. The Sandman Doombot throws sand at her face, and it's not really much compared to the electroshocks or the of the Electro cosplaying Doombot or the Dr. Octopus bot. But life continues. Squirrel Girl shows up. She has beaten all the Doombots. She's ready to do battle. And then, Shannon tells Kraven to attack her. He says he won't because he has too much respect for her, so she shoots her with the repulsor, hits her with her cosplay Mjolnir, and then she wakes up to see Weapon 2, who says, "Sup, bud?" And we find out that Rocket, Weapon 2, the Beast, and now Howard, Squirrel Girl, and Kraven are all put on the preserve, ready to be hunted. Because Kraven and her had a dispute about funding. So her hunt begins now, and none of us are to survive. As always, it's a fun, jovial, highly meta book, even to the point where Shannon calls out the fact that that everyone is always cosplaying. Everything we wear is a costume. Says, even Howard, you are an anthropomorphic duck, not legally required to wear pants. And yes, you do. Howard actually breaks a little bit of the fourth wall. He says, well, actually Diz, and then cuts him off. But yes, real fun, Unbeatable Squirrel Girl, number 6. Big thumbs up.
All right. And believe it or not, we're down to our last book.
Oh, we are? Wow, that was fast, man. Okay, yeah, short week this week. But this is a big book. So let's start off with story 1. Do you want to open us up with this, or?
Okay. It opens up in Pleasant Hills as Sam Wilson arrives, talking to the birds, and they see nothing good.
Yeah, well, nothing's good goes on in Pleasant Hill. No. That's fascinating.
And then Bucky shows up.
Yeah. Yeah, they have a nice moment. Yeah.
It's a big old anniversary issue, so we're gonna get Caps teaming up.
Yeah, well, it's the League of Captains. It's like the Green Lantern Corps, but with Captains America. And that is the proper pluralization. Is you pluralize the captains, not the America, because there are multiple captains of America.
Mm-hmm. So then the Blood Brothers are rampaging through what is that, schoolhouse, and they go to save the teacher, who's actually a SHIELD agent.
Yeah, which is to be expected because this is a SHIELD prison, and she blasts the Blood Brothers with a laser rifle, and she lays out her plan to go to the museum, which has a bunch of other magical items hidden as everyday items, which just made me think of the movie Return to Oz, where they have all of the inhabitants of Oz been turned into knickknacks. That's me. I don't know. Although, man, there's a cube right there. Although, how could there be a cube if she was a cube? And that uniform is actually the Serpent Crown, because you see a little military uniform there. But they got to battle through a circus of crime. And it says, why do so many supervillains dream of being in this circus? Is that a condition with a name attached to it? Says Bucky. That's funny. And it's nice seeing Bucky and Sam trade off on the shield, because they're partners now. They're working together. And then we see Kobik says, I just wanted everyone to go bowling. Cut to the bowling alley or somewhere. I'm not quite sure. Yeah, that's the bowling alley. I'm not quite sure if this is like a flash forward or a flashback, but we basically see old Cap getting the bloody heck beat out of him by Crossbones. We get a nice little flashback of who the other Captains Americas were. We get Cap's own flashback, his regrets, his worries, and we see him with Maria Hill at being held hostage by Baron Zemo. Maria Hill needs to get help. She needs medical attention. Zemo basically says, well, how can I help you and not help all these others? And they pull out an accountant, Danny Rothstein, who... So your thoughts on Danny? Does he know he's about to get murdered in order for Maria Hill to get medical attention?
I don't think he does, but he should.
Yeah. Well, I think where he says, it's okay, sir, I'm not... I really thought he was going to say, I'm not afraid. That he really understood what he was... To me, Danny Rothstein, hero that he is, knew what he was taking on. And that's makes it more heroic.
Yeah. I didn't know if he was going to say that or if he was going to say, it's okay, sir, I'm not that badly wounded, so...
Yeah. I guess it's all in how you read it. So, in my head canon, he knew what was coming. He knew that he was sacrificing his life to save Maria, which makes him a hero. Danny Rothstein. I want a statue to this man at Pleasant Hill. I like the... it's interesting that we have the father here. Now, spoiler... should we jump to the spoiler with the father, or should we go through the story first?
It's up to you.
Okay, well, so anyway, Zemo sends Father... What was it? Father Patrick with Cap. And, I'm kind of annoyed at myself because I actually did get a spoiler for that, so I couldn't help but read all of his lines in that character's voice. Because I had seen... They actually had implied in CBR that it was actually him who returns Cap to his youthful self, but that is not the case. So they run into some construction workers It turns out that it was actually the Wrecking Crew. Father Patrick tells Cap to run and hide, and then they come out. They run into Dr. Selvig, who says, she's at the bowling alley. He's going to work to save Maria Hill. Cap comes out, and they see that the Wrecking Crew seems to have all beat themselves up. They blow up an oxygen tank to knock Father Patrick back. Cap escapes, and then we get the reveal that Father Patrick was the Red Skull the whole time. And I gotta wonder, did the Red Skull? Because I'm guessing the Red Skull isn't a prisoner at Pleasant Hill. I'm guessing the Red Skull just showed up there because he knew something was going on with this.
You would think, because he's been free and running around in Uncanny Avengers, so
yeah. So I'm guessing that he was just, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think just the way he seemed like he shifted appearance that quickly. I don't think it's Cosmic Cube. Maybe it's him using Xavier's brain.
Yeah, I think I totally got an Xavier's brain on that. And oh God, I really hate having to say that. Yeah. It doesn't make sense at all in any way.
Unless there's something else involved, unless he did use a cube or something to give him.
No, it's all Xavier's brain. It doesn't make sense. Like I said, unless there's I guess what it is. So in my headcanon right now, and I use this to say to myself, is that he's got Xavier's brain in a jar. He's got a quantum psychic connection to Xavier's brain. That's how he's controlling it, but he didn't actually stick Xavier's brain in his own brain, because that doesn't work. It doesn't work that way. We run into Kobik at the bowling alley, who's kind of this sad, petulant little girl, and she says, I just want everyone to be happy and go bowling. And then you see all the heroes and all the villains in Pleasant Hill all sitting around bowling. And Cap's trying to talk her down, walk her through this, when who shows up?
Some guy, but he changes into Crossbones.
Yeah, a guy who says there's this guy, he needs help, and then he changes back into Crossbones. We get the fight. Then the Shield shows up. He's going to cut off Cap's head with his own shield. We get a great little montage, a flashback, and we see a woman. It says, you don't have to go. You can stay if you... I don't know if that's Kobik, although it looks older than Kobik. I don't know if that's maybe a future version of Kobik. Maybe that's Valeria Richards. I don't know. It says you can stay if you like. What?
I was gonna say, no. It looks different than in the montage, but I was gonna say that isn't like his mother or something, like calling him from the other side or something.
Well, at first I thought maybe it was Peggy calling him from the other side, but then this is the person who sends him back. It says, I can make you strong again, I can make you a hero again. And it could just be that artists, have a hard time drawing, women who are not, grown women. It's, as we've said before, yeah. It's like, try to draw a flat-chested woman in a comic book and people freak out because they don't know how to do it. Not all artists, but every so often you get an artist like, you really don't know how. It's like old Cap. It's like, you really don't know how to draw a guy who's scrawny, do you? You don't know how to draw a scrawny old man, do you? So, yeah, but I'm guessing it's Kobik. That she looks older might be a hint at something, or it might just be an artist having difficulty trying to draw the scene. And we see that Cap comes back and beats the heck out of Crossbones, and then we see it's good to be back, young, blonde-headed Steve Rogers again. Hooray!
Charlie's favorite.
Yeah. No, I kind of liked him older, but we'll go along with it. What the heck? We're here. It's our universe now. We're stuck with it. Mm-hmm. And hey, did you see who writes the next story?
Yeah, Joss Whedon.
Good old Joss Whedon. This was actually kind of cool. I like this. Although, man, I want to see that Amerigun. So, we see Cap. This is old school Cap with, I'm guessing, the Howlers here. I don't know if that's supposed to be Sergeant Fury. I'm not sure, or maybe it's just some random Sergeant Rock. And you got Cap, and you're cutting between him fighting in some snow-covered French village, and in his old school outfit with the tricorner shield. They're fighting against a Hydra tank, which is crazy evil looking. Meanwhile, they cut back to Cap talking with some marketing guys about how, shields are weak. We need to give you something better. And they give him, get behind the Amerigun. And that just looks crazy. It's got 4-barrel. Although, man, like I said, I want to see someone bring this Amerigun back. I want to see the Punisher with the Amerigun.
That's what I was thinking.
It's like, I want to see that. And we're flashing back to Cap fighting to save this village. They drop the big church bell on the tank, which apparently tanks are vulnerable to bells. And they say, who has a shield? And he says, savages. Says, well, knights. He says, knights are British. The Amerigun was a winner. Freedom, victory, virility, right. That's our message. Ours is bigger. It's a shield. What does that even mean? And they show Cap shielding people as he fights villains. I love that. That was a great piece by Joss. Glad to see him back working with Marvel. Everyone was like, oh, he'll never work with Marvel again. He hates Marvel. It's like, no. He made a big film that takes a lot of work. It amazes me that Zack Snyder still wants to make these dang things after all the trouble he went through with his films. Zack Snyder, why don't you take a break for a bit? Oh, Zack Snyder, we love you. As I say, you cannot lay everything about that film at Zack Snyder's plate. There were a lot of people, from studio executives on down to caterers, all working diligently to make a film to make you mad. Our next story is Catch Me If You Can. This is a great little silent piece. I like this. We see Cap sneaking into a Hydra base. They find he goes to a safe. He breaks in. He finds all of the treasures hidden in here. One of the treasures was apparently his old footlocker, and which was
a baseball signed by Babe Ruth that his father gave him.
Yeah, that's sweet. It was sweet. Never quite, it's always kind of interesting whenever they flash back to Steve's past, because they've depicted his father as an angry drunk. They've depicted his father as a good man. And, on some level, I'm sure a lot of people would say that's inconsistent, but I think on another level, maybe that is truer than anything else. It's the idea that maybe he was an angry, abusive drunk, and sometimes he was a good man too, because you know what? People are like that. Like I said, I always pegged him as a Dodgers fan, but maybe they were playing the Dodgers that day at the Yankees Stadium, and and still, hey, it's Babe Ruth, and he was signing balls, and you got to respect Babe Ruth regardless. Even if you're not a Yankees fan, you got to respect Babe Ruth. So that was fun. That was a good one. And then, is this our last story? Yeah, our last story. Our last story. What is this one called? This one is called not Gwenpool. I don't know. Did they give us the story at the end? The title. This is one of the ones where they give you the title at the very end. No,
hold on. There was a page before the backups. Pause de deux.
Pause de deux. That means pause for two. It's French. Let me just see what it says. Yeah. Pause de deux. Which is pause for two. It's a ballet. Basically, I believe it means pause for two beats. Anyway, so we see Natasha getting ready because they're infiltrating this thing. Natasha's on the stage as a ballerina. I love that because it just reminds me of my friend Tatiana Kott, who is a fantastic dancer and artist in New York. Everyone, if you're ever in New York and you see a piece with Tatiana Kott in it, with Blessed Unrest or any of the other groups that she works with, Go see it. You will not be disappointed. One of the finest artists working in the world, without a doubt. Anyway, but when she has her hair, she's a redhead too. So every time I see Black Widow, I always think of Tatiana. So we see, they have a great little back and forth talking about ballet. Steve is not a fan, makes this statement that he saw Nutcracker once, wasn't impressed. And she's like, saying, that's like saying, I saw reality TV show once and I don't like television. It's like, that is not from which but we see that Cap gains a real appreciation for Natasha as she's dancing. They spot the Latvian assassins who are there to kill the Latvian defector ballerina. And Cap, of course, dispatches them right quick. I wonder, this is young Cap. I wonder if this is pre or post standoff. Can never be too sure. But anyway, he says, you dance the way you fight. And says, no, I fight the way I dance. That's why they taught me ballet in the first place. Great story to end it. Can't go wrong with Natasha and Cap story. There's a reason why in the A-Next cartoon, James Rogers was Tatiana's son. Because
you mean Natasha's son?
Yeah, Natasha's son. Man, see, I got Tatiana on my brain. Look her up, Tatiana Kott. You'll be thankful. She's a poet too. Gosh, she's amazing. Anyway, K-O-T-T, or K-O-T. No, K-O-T-T, two T's. You can never go wrong with a Natasha Cap story. I've actually always felt those two were, when they kind of forced the relationship between her and Bucky, just to bring back Sharon Carter. I don't know. To me, Cap and Natasha are the better pair than, because they're both in their own way, kind of their own. They're both super soldiers. They're both, their own country's ideals. Mm-hmm. They're both kind of old school people. Really, when you really break it down, they are. And I always felt they had more in common than either Bucky and Natasha, or even Cap and Sharon. Because I always felt Sharon was always a little too much of the spy for Cap, and I think Natasha, in her own way, was always the hero. Because even though she is a spy, yes, she was the Black Widow. She was a code name. She was, she had a uniform, she had equipment, she was a superhero. She was in the spy game, but she was a superhero. And I always felt that her and Cap had a better vibe in that way. But that's just me. Other people, feel free to disagree. So big thumbs up for Captain America. I'll say worth the $6. Would you say worth the $6?
Oh yeah, thumbs up. Yeah, worth the price. Up.
Yeah, and I do love the whole recreation of the original Captain America cover on the front with Winter Soldier and the Bucky spot. Although the much bigger spot for Bucky than in the original book. Although man, Cap is Hitler. Cap getting socked in the jaw by Sam Wilson. Yeah, that's a thing. But yeah, all in all, great book.
All right, and that's it.
That's all of them, man. Oh, we're still at about an hour though, so
I know.
We still yammered on and on.
It's under an hour though.
Yeah.
All right, but well, before I give our social media, I forget what's on the list for next week. There's a bunch of books, but I think I do remember. I think Black Panther #1 comes out.
Black Panther, 2 standoffs, Avengers, and it's like the New Avengers and Uncanny Avengers. And yeah, it's the New Avengers and the Uncanny Avengers. And I know that because I read the previews, and they go into the American Kaiju storyline on New Avengers. And what is the name of the American Kaiju, Phil?
I don't know.
Todd Ziller.
Okay.
Corporal Todd Ziller. A super soldier lizard gamma experiment gone awry. becomes Todzilla becomes the American Kaiju. I'm going to say New Avengers, Squirrel Girl's on the team. They get real meta sometimes. For a straight up superhero book, they are real meta, you know?
But I'm excited. I can't wait to see Black Panther.
Oh, that's going to be Ta-Nehisi Coates. You know, I was worried about him at first until I found out he's actually a big comic book nerd. And it's like, oh, good. He's not just some kind of famous writer. He's actually a proper nerd. He can handle it then. I was just worried. They were like, oh, he's a famous writer. We'll put him in charge. It's like, what does he know about comic books? And it's like, oh, no. He's got nerd cred. He's been vouched for by other nerds. He said, no, trust me. I know him. I knew him before he was famous. He's long been a nerd. Trust me. So, yay, Ta-Nehisi. Can't wait to read your book.
All right. Well, let us know what you're excited about. Upcoming books. Email us, marvelroundup@gmail.com. On Facebook, we're all New Marvel Roundup. Twitter is @Marvel_Roundup. And our Instagram is World's Finest Roundup. And Charlie, where can people find you?
Well, you can always tweet with me on the Twitters @CharlieEsser. That's CharlieEsser. Look for the 2 E's in the middle for quality. And write to me in that old-fashioned email-y way at superconnectivityblog@gmail.com. That's superconnectivityblog, all one word, @gmail.com.
All right, and as for me, you can always discuss anything Marvel or DC with me, nightwingpdp@gmail.com. Twitter is @nightwingpdp. Instagram, Periscope, all nightwingpdp. My website is philparrish.wordpress.com. And remember, stay tuned later in the week for Super Connectivity. All right, let's get out of here and get the Super Connectivity, Charlie.
Let's do it. Let's connect.
All right, everyone. Remember what? You got off light this week, but there's a big, heavy pile of books waiting to drop on your head next week. Good night.
Good night.